Do 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 do. Hello, everybody. This is Mari from WTF Sky. I have my friend coming on. Her name is Wendy, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a chat in a minute here. I'm just setting up here, so bear with me. I have been off and on line with covering grand solar minimum and various things. This channel, I used to cover a lot of space geekery, debunking Nibiru, writing Christmas songs about Nibiru. Let me see if our stream is live here. Let me just make sure. Yes, I do. I hear my voice. Here we are. So, I covered grand solar minimum, and I'm still covering grand solar minimum. I just spilt my coffee. Shnikes. So, this channel was given birth a long time ago. Back, I don't remember when exactly I created it, but it really took off in 2015 when I experienced some supernatural things. And I created this whole channel sort of unveiling, like, is it Nibiru? Like, is it the end times? What's going on? And I had to go on this. It's been a combination science journey. It's been a combination spiritual journey. It's been a it's really rewired my life. You know, back in 2015, I had a supernatural Kundalini awakening. And if you don't know what a Kundalini awakening is, it's like an alignment in your body. It's an electromagnetic shift in your body when all of your chakras become aligned. You sensory, neurologically experience things outside of yourself from other realms of existence. And, you know, when these kind of supernatural things happen to people, it takes a while for one to understand it, like at depth. And that one event took me into the grand solar minimum research, which took me through this whole landscape of history, discovering different climactic changes throughout the centuries, and then using my pattern recognition skills to see how that affected social history, and then branching off into the esoteric information, what the prophets said about end times, and tying in end times revelation to current events and trying to make sense of the utter chaos that I saw in the world. And it's just interesting for covering the topics I've had for as long as I've had, the depth of vision that I now have. So let me just see, first of all, my friend Wendy is trying to get in on Skype, so let me see if I can call her. Okay. Let's see if she picks up here.
Hello?
Can she hear me?
Can you hear me?
Let's see here. Hold on here while I adjust.
Yeah.
Or try to adjust.
Can you hear me?
My settings here. I just forgot I didn't have my headphones on, Wendy, so I can't hear you. So hold on just a minute. And we're setting up. I haven't broadcasted in about a year, so let's see. Speaker volume too low. Let's see if we can turn this up here. Just give me a second. Okay. I gotta back out of some windows here and adjust my sound. For some reason, I cannot hear. Okay, so let's switch it to speakers real quick. Can you talk, Wendy?
Hello?
Okay, so I hear you there. So now, hold on,
Oh, that's me.
and let me connect my headphones,
Me
and I
thinking you.
should be set,
Yeah.
hopefully. I use the headphones so I don't get feedback.
Yeah.
So
I
hopefully
understand.
that'll, hold on here. Stupid Bluetooth. I got a synchronization.
It's all good. This is real life. This is what happens.
Let me turn
So,
this off. Okay. That should do it.
can you hear me?
All right.
Still?
Now, can you talk, Wendy? Let me see if I can hear you.
Hello. It is I. Can you hear me?
There we go.
No? Hello?
Now?
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Thank God.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
I thought I was That's okay. I was thinking it is possible that it could be me as well because I don't have I have stuff that I need to get set up. And of course I bought it all, but it's just I'm looking at it so that it's not set up. So it could have been my settings. So but you can still hear me now, correct?
I can hear you. Now I'm just going to check on the channel and make sure both of our voices are going through. This channel, I just cover a lot of
Yeah.
I haven't done this in a while, so, practice makes perfect, I guess. Hopefully I'll be
Yes.
better prepared next time. We'll see. Ha-ha. Ha-ha, ha-ha. Okay,
Well,
let's see. There we go.
let me know if you have any feedback from my side too, because I don't have my
Okay, yep, I can hear it. We're good.
Okay.
So I was telling people my backstory when I started the stream, like, because I tested the stream and I didn't know it was going to show visible, like I was live. I thought it was just a test stream I was doing. And then people,
Yeah.
like, they got into the chat and I'm like, oh no, I'll be right back. So I went and I restarted it. And I don't know. Anyway, it's like, I just got to get back in the swing of things, I guess. I
I'm
used
sure
to
that
do this every day.
Yeah.
So my story that I was telling people was when I started this channel, WTF Sky, the WTF was where's the faith guy, like where's the faith guy, like that was the background of my whole, like, all right, so I heard this cosmic voice from yonder and telling them my experience with the heavenly father coming forth upon me and saying I'm coming and giving me my Kundalini experience, which was a full body sensory experience of euphoria and oneness with creation. So that experience for me was a catalyst into a whole journey, which has basically created the monster before you today called Mari. I've become
I
like
don't know if
this.
I'd call it a monster, but
I do. I do, because now it's like after, becoming, like going from not knowing what that meant to basically my long journey into the cosmos, like into the land of electromagnetic physics and consciousness. It's like I see it. I say I'm a monster because of my perspective. it's so broad. With my pattern recognition skills, I see everything as the cosmic joke. Like, and I can't, I can't, like, it's like people don't understand the cosmic joke. And that's sort of why I'm bringing you on, because you get a lot of the shit I say. And I know I'm a hard person to understand sometimes, but it's like people like you, talking to people like you, like just help me refine and articulate things with precision, because let's be honest, this is why we're here. We're here because we see a world that needs to be healed, and we know that there's change in the air. It's been
Yeah.
proven, it's no coincidence that the one side is saying that mankind is killing the climate, and that the other side is saying that, it's a different scenario, that we are the climate.
Right.
Like there's a paradigm shift underway, and it depends on which way you look, which reality you fall into. Are you falling into the past dogma of things, or are you falling into the future change and adaptation of things, or are you just enjoying your now moment and just saying fuck it all?
Yeah.
These are our options, and this is what basically this is going to be like, I guess, like a weekly roundtable. And I
Yeah.
invite other people. Like, I'm hosting it on Skype and then just broadcasting it on WTF Sky. So, you know, I
Yeah.
welcome all, for whoever wants to come in and future broadcasts. Leave a comment. So, Wendy, tell me, why don't you tell people a little about yourself, and that way, they got it. They already know I'm like the cosmic ninja weirdo from
You're
WTF
not a
Sky.
weirdo.
So just, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell them how radically awesome you are, and then
Well,
we
I
can
don't.
carry on into the cosmos of
Mm,
conversation.
yeah. I don't. I don't know. I'm put on the spot here. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. No, I'm Wendy. Uh, that's it. No, I'm just. No, I just. I don't know what to say about myself other than I'm just like everybody, like just an average Joe, which is not so average in my opinion. I think everybody has their own unique, exceptional way of being. And I was thinking about this the other day. Sorry, this is like me now not talking about myself, about other people. I'm working on this, right? Because I'm not really good about talking about myself. I'm really great about talking and promoting other people, but I'm not great about promoting myself. Can you tell it's uncomfortable for me? Of
I'm
course.
sorry.
No,
We're going to
no,
have
no, it's
some breakthrough here.
I know. No, it's okay. It's just it's I mean, I'll start with that. That's sort of where I feel like there's a lot of things within each of us that we struggle with, right? So that's one of my struggles, and I've always been pretty open about talking about where I struggle. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being okay with it and talking about it. So for example, and so I try to talk about that, and I think there's a lot of people like you can just I don't know, I can just feel people's hearts because that's really what matters to me. Like, not these dogmatic ideas like, okay, this is what this is named, this is a word and here's a name and that's what we use because words to me point to things. They're not said things. And so I just feel like there should be more of that. And so for myself, I've just had kind of a bleeding heart, I guess, for a really long time. I guess you could call it that. Just this need to like speak from the heart and have other people feel that so that they can express themselves. Because I'll tell you what, Mari, I learned so much from other people. And as a kid, I would hear other people, like I would sit and listen to them and I would be in their world. Like if you took the time to tell me a story, this is my whole life. I just thought everybody listened like this. I know, naive, right? But I was like, when you're telling me a story about something or sharing, I'm like there with you, right? Like I'm like sitting there, like if you're telling me about a trip you went on, I'm in it with you. Like we're together on the trip. So I'll even, and I think women do this more too. We make little cues back and forth, like these verbal cues, like oh, and ask questions along the way. And so I think perspective listening is a really big thing. So for me, who I am, I guess, is just someone that sees that need to sort of step into the perspectives of other people and really hear that and get to know people on a level that is just not these ideas, because that's what it is. These are just words and words that culminated together that create ideas, and we use those to point to things. But all these polarities and these like divisions, and if you really step back and think like, what is triggering me in any circumstance? Why is it, you know why is it that this person's reaction or whatever or idea is triggering me? And if you start asking yourself those questions, at least for myself in the past 2 to 3 years, personally, I've experienced exponential growth. Like it's beyond what I could have ever imagined. And I've been really honest with myself. And sometimes I didn't like what I saw within myself. So I am, I guess I'm on an exploration. Who am I? I'm an exploration of refining myself to be able to understand and understand our human condition and the evolution of such in this ever changing world, because undeniably there's changes going on that should be spoken about. I mean, with the planet,
Do
Mari, that's why I
you want to
appreciate your
say it? I'll say it. I'll just come out and tell everybody right now. It's evolution. It's
it
it's
is.
it's
Yeah.
it's evolution under the mysticism of spirituality. It's been labeled and rebranded obnoxiously. And this is
Mhm.
why I say I'm a monster to
You're a monster.
society, because I'm going to embrace this because this is the fact. Religion is used for a separation tactic amongst the population. Because here's my viewpoint. I have gone from this individualized point of view of just this is Mari in a world that she doesn't understand, to zooming out my perspective beyond myself, to see myself interwoven within the fabric of creation. Like it's there. What is looming right now? And let me explain myself. This is called depth of perception. I have to show this because Wendy, can I blow your mind for a minute? I'm going to blow your mind, Wendy.
Always. Please.
Okay, so
I
let
like my
let me
mind blown. You
transition
know that.
my thing here. I just got to use a little graphic to help here. So swim we swim in electromagnetic fields. Let me
Hey,
show you
Mari,
this.
how do I
Yes.
see that? How do I see it? Or no?
Are you on can you go on your phone on
Yep.
and
Yeah, I can.
then go to YouTube
Yeah.
and go to WTF Sky,
Oh, yeah, I'll
like
go there.
the
I
channel
gotcha.
is, and then you'll see what I have on the screen.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
just because I've been studying the sun for like the past decade, um, I want to tie everybody's humanness into creation. So, obviously the biggest culprit is the sun in the sky. Let's be honest here. We know it's the primary driver of the climate, but do we understand on a daily basis that its electromagnetic fields are dancing, within and, outside of us, like on a 100% of the time basis? We have the electromagnetic field between the sun and the earth, and then we also have our own neurological system which has its own toroidal field of energy and complexity within our chakra system. So everything is connected in creation down to a molecular level. And this has been proven at, at CERN with the unified field of existence, and then also how they collided two light particles into matter. So the simple fact is we are energy. And it's like this is when you're going through this coming into being into yourself, coming into like, who am I, what am I, where am I from, like, what is this making sense of things, all these characters in religion. You start off, at least like in the Western cultures, like a white girl like me who has Native American roots and Irish roots all intertwined. I don't have a culture to cling onto in America, and it's not discussed from like people. I'm going to be the weird white person that says, I see how horrible, my ancestors were to other cultures. I see that. But then it's like also my own culture robbed myself, like, because like when the Gnostics got separated and the whole, like, my whole Irish culture got separated by like the Romans and calling things hair tickle, and it's like I grew up a fucking confused individual because nothing made sense to me. And when I had my supernatural kundalini awakening and I'm like trying to dissect it, it's like over a decade of dissecting, I realized it's all energy personified. It's like, to me, that is groundbreaking revolution. Like in
Yeah.
the psyche, because it's like you look back on history and it's like, especially if you're like, okay, let's look from the perspective of the unified field. Let's zoom out. Okay, let's go to the beginning and have a look see loo. Okay, what is this perspective like? And as you as a human go in within the mind and try to perceive things from alternate perspectives, the view from above is really humorous because each human is a representation of the unified field of existence. So, so the whole consciousness ladder goes into the oneness of creation. So this realization of people understanding this is the second coming.
So hey Mark,
Be,
can you
it's
say
like,
that again? That sorry, I find
so
it
what's
beneficial.
happening
Each
is
each
there's
human is what?
each
You s-
human is a representation of the unified field of existence.
Okay.
So I make a joke. We're the littles, and then the oneness, the unified field is a collection of consciousness. It's a collective
Right.
consciousness, and it's
Okay.
it's like that collective consciousness has a mother aspect and a father aspect.
Yep.
It's a level within the consciousness itself, and it's organized as like music or harmony. So
Right.
basically, when you are looking at this, let me move this over because I think my
Sorry, not to
screen is
interrupt you, Mari.
cutting it off.
I find it beneficial. I'm asking you because I don't know if anyone else will benefit from it, but like I since understanding this more with your help and also just things that have been shown to me that have opened up in my mind, I find this connection very, very helpful for me in my mental condition and my well-being. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to explain why I was asking so much.
Did I miss a question?
I don't know.
I don't know. Now I lost my thought, like what I was.
Oh, probably because I interrupted you. And then I decided to interrupt you to tell you why I was interrupting you, which is
Well,
terrible.
it's fine because it's like it gives me an opportunity to like just say my brain with this discovery switched like into a state
Okay.
of flow. So it's
Okay.
like
I can tell you where you left off. I remember now. You were at you were telling about the unified field and how each of us are individual parts of that unified field and the consciousness, of course, and that one had a female aspect. There's a female aspect and a male aspect, and that's where I interrupted you, I think.
so basically that's and this goes to hermetic principles where everything is on the other side has no polarity. So I have broken down the teachings of Christ in two things, which is the state of a magnet. So we seriously as humans have the choice consciously to act our realities out in a polarized way, like we're separate from creation, or we can take the two magnets that are polarizing one another, the dark and the light that fight with each other all the time, and we see that the light isn't very nice fighting with the dark, and the dark isn't very nice fighting with the light, and you see that they're both shitheads, right? Both of the magnets being polarized are shitheads. So
Yeah.
the doctrine of unconditional love is when these two sides flip and find harmony within the opposing sides, like a magnet. So let's pull up a picture of that. Like, what's that look like? Let's see if this will show up on my screen. So it's like, Wendy, what I want to do for humanity is really break down religion into these simple terms of this
Yes.
is you as an individual. You can either be one consciously with creation or detached from it. And when you become self aware, you realize how challenging this act is to go through your day and be confronted by these angry, generationally
Yeah.
traumatized, challenged people in society. I'm not lying here. People
No, it
in
is. It's
society
challenging.
are broken right now, like seriously hurting, and
Yeah.
it's for an empath like myself or Wendy. It's hard to watch,
It's
and
hard to feel.
there's
Yeah.
different with when you're talking with consciousness, and this is where the debate is with like Buddhism and other forms of reality. This is the trouble with duality is both answers are always accurate. Like the human mind wants to hold on to one thing conceptually. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So with these higher realms of consciousness, like yogis call the highest states of consciousness this oneness with creation, which is actually just human evolution. You building your neurological sensory system to sensory feel the oneness and connection with creation. It's like an energetic process that goes through the human body. It's an electromagnetic shift that you consciously develop and work just like a martial art. So like in like Buddhist culture, if you experience this, all is well. You experience bliss and perfection. The problem is it's a temporary conscious state when you achieve it in this realm of reality, because we can't stay in a disassociated state. Like that's what my like when Buddhists discover enlightenment, their detachment is really just what in the psychiatric realm of things is called disassociation. So when you experience other these alter um, states of consciousness, it alters your perception of reality permanently, like really. So you can see from above, and then you can come back down to the 3D level, and you can see people basically disconnected from their own nature. And it's tragically sad, but also, since it's the realm of duality, if you understand the oneness of the unified field playing with itself, you also see a humorous side, like why is creation essentially torturing one another? How has this happened that society has enslaved itself into this pyramid of misery? So the simple act is can be referenced to the magnet. We have become detached in society. Detached. There's two different states. And it is not our fault. You know how the Bible says it's not your. You got some Bible verses, Wendy, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, eared and ready to go. No, I'm kidding. I don't
No,
have
I'm
them.
just, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we are
Oh, yeah.
blameless. And when you understand the actual, I'm trying to find my dang thing. So we are blameless because it's like our emotions are energy. And if
Right.
we're not tapped into ourselves, like with our self-awareness, like people are born into this world of separation. When you're born into this world of separation, you are born into spiritual death. That is like what the it's like you have this visual perception of being separate when you're born into this world as a specific experience for your immortal soul being, like, because your immortal body can experience death. So how does it do it? Well, it takes its electromagnetic field and uses this sounds funny, but it uses your mother's vagina for a portal and enters you into the land of physical reality. This
Right.
is what the science is showing. And no one can debunk this because it's science. And now what's happening is the quantum realm of reality, quantum physics, when it comes to quantum mechanics, quantum energy, quantum this, quantum that, people are realizing their brains are quantum computers, and your
Yeah.
mind state is affected by your environment. So right now, being in a grand solar minimum, also entering in an overlaying cycle of a 22-year max cycle, we're heading into a maximum. So that is like we're experiencing polarized energy pegging the planet, highly charged particles pegging the planet. Like just 3 days ago, I'm probably talking too much, Wendy. I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening because I'm making. No, you're not talking too much. No, because you have so much in there. You go.
And so let me
I'm
get it
making
out.
notes because
Oh
I
my
have.
God. So like
No, I have
3 days ago,
questions.
we had a proton event.
Yep.
Okay. So like it was a solar radiation event, protons like pegging the earth. Okay, this is chaos energy. Now, protons, if you understand particle physics, are a neurotransmitter. So, like, this cosmic consciousness is a legit thing to experience. I am a walker of it. So the complexity of human life in your brain from an electromagnetic level is so important. Like people don't understand like how their environment can affect their inner beingness. and it's just crazy. Most people go a whole lifetime until something tragic happens and it forces them within to see the sensory. There's a whole world of senses that cannot be defined by language. So let me just read this question in the chat. Is it possible that religion does not have the same meaning now that it did during its conception? Was it intended as a way to pass on history, but hid sacred knowledge in history? This is so interesting. You asked this. So from the you have the unified field, which if you have read up on people having near-death experiences or quantum hypnosis sessions, or even if you understand yogis in the deep state of meditation with the concept of samadhi, these altered states of consciousness, you experience these other realms of existence. So what you'll find is when you get the truth within, you can see the truth on the exterior. So when I look to answer your question with religion, all the truth is in all the religions. Like all of our ancestors hid all of the secrets of basically the simplest spiritual teachings are you connected to creation, and are you actively trying to make that connection with others, or are you disconnected, acting polarized to one another? Do you see people as separate from you? So like me, Mari, and this goes on a whole spectrum of extremes, and I have taken it to the ultimate extreme, to the oneness of creation. So when I see you, I see Melody as you, Mari. I see you as an aspect of creation. I see me as an aspect of creation. You have a different background and perspective and a whole line of history you are spawned from, which I feel is really beautiful. And you have struggled through many different challenges, as well as your ancestors throughout the whole bloodline. And I see that one on one with you, no matter what your skin color is, no matter what your religion is, no matter what, because I see the science and I understand the natural connection to creation. Religion, it can be read two different ways. You can read religion from the perspective of fear and separation, which is you looking outside of yourself and you're seeing everything like, you know, the devil demons are outside of you and all that. But what it is that fear is from within, and it's a good gauge to see where you're at spiritually is how many fears you have, because when you're assessing your fears, it aligns you into essentially what this is 0 point, the beginning. And I, oh my God, Wendy, like the pattern recognition, like when I talk about polarized energy and non-polarized energy, like this is our choice as humans. Like, do we want to come together or not? And this is the simple physics that should be explained to our governments, you know, drawing borders between people and, you know, genociding native nations, you know, do you want unity or not? And it's like, it sounds funny to fight for peace, but it's really just a hard question to ask them. Do you want unity or not? You know, do we want peace in this world, or do we not? And this is why, you know, people like you and me exist, because it's like we're the mirrors now. We're mirrors to people holding up, like, what are we doing? What are we doing within society on a psychological basis to help humanity to heal from all this genetic trauma. And I'm going to let you talk because I have diarrhea of the mouth.
No, it's
So
okay.
sorry.
No, it's good.
It's just I'm
I totally
neurodivergent and autistic, and I have diarrhea of the mouth. That's all.
well, no, because there's a lot. I totally understand, and this is why I like you and I conversating because we both have similar characteristics. Like there's so much within me, and I want to share it not because I want the attention on me. I want to share it because I just want people to be able to see this and feel this because it releases you internally of so much turmoil you don't even realize that you have going on. And I say that not because I read it in a book. I say that because I experienced it myself, especially the last, I would say, well, specifically 6 or 7 years, starting in 2016 and then heightening up. And so it like releases you and then it kind of imprisons you a little bit more because then you're like, how do I get it out? So my point in saying that, Mari, is that I appreciate the diarrhea of your mouth that you call it, right? Well, because I feel you on a level. We're communicating not just in our words, right? But we're also communicating right now with our hearts because I feel you. I feel the what is it? The dam built up that you're able to expect release because what you just said and what your heart is saying is so valuable. If people have the ears to hear and understand, it can change their life. And you're just
And this is
passionate.
it's tough for me because I had to come into some really fucked up realizations. Like I had to be like, you know what? I'm a spiritual channel. I'm a radio transmitter for the divine because I can go into deep meditation and channel things and sometimes somehow understand physics afterwards. You know, it is the invisible college. And
It
can I
is.
show you another amazing thing? You know how I'm like crazy about things either being polarized or not polarized?
Yes.
All right. So you know about alpha and omega, right?
Yes.
Like this is like my brain it blow. All right, hold on. Oh my god. See, here we go. Oh my god, it's so funny. I get so excited too. Like I get so excited. And that's
I
because like
know.
I
I do
I
too.
wait, okay, so I channeled the clown spirit. Like it's like I when you channel source is the clown spirit. Like it's so good. So much love, so much unconditional love from the shit I channel. But it's simple spiritual teachings that I channel. So right now I said we're in polarized energy, right? And then
Yeah.
if you look at the grand minimum, the sun goes into like a harmonic like energy, and that energy transmutes itself, so like earth will get it, right? So all right, pattern recognition, alpha and omega. All right, alpha, I guess there's a garbage guy and the doggies are getting
Oh,
mad. So
her dogs are
alpha,
very vocal too. They have diarrhea
alpha
of the barking.
alpha and omega, right? We're going to look at voices when see how the energy goes outwards on the right hand side. Shut up, doggies. And then on the other side it goes into like a more harmonic toroidal field, and it goes inwards on itself. So that's like harmonic energy, and then there's polarized energy. So alpha, that is that's the polarized energy, right? That goes out. So that's like the first, when they say in the Bible, like, speak it into existence. Like this is the
Yes, word
energy.
becomes flesh, or word into flesh, or the beginning
So
emanation, like the boom.
so let's go back to this. So like the one split, like spoke and created duality. So
Yeah,
so when this essentially magnetic field created a sound, it doubled upon itself in
yeah,
in all different directions, all different spectrums of everything. And it gave you that. And when you unify things on a conscious level, you go to the omega. an O, Om. This is the actual harmonic field. Let me
Yes.
go to it here on the screen if you can see it.
Are you on the
So
live chat screen? Where are you doing
on
this?
the
Am
live
I missing
chat
it?
screen, so like she's saying like A for alpha, like, and that goes out. Like if you record it, it has certain frequencies of sound. So the
Yeah.
omega is like a harmonic going inwards on itself. It's like two magnets sticking in on each other. It's a perfect harmonic field.
Yes.
So this is just another nerdy shit, like I look at, with this alpha and omega. The end is the beginning. The beginning is the
Yes.
end.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
so these
Yeah.
grand solar minimums, when you look through history, they are the beginnings and ends to civilization.
Yes.
So in people want to think that the end is going to be like one event, and this was a huge revelation for me, because when I was going, on my path with the grand solar minimum, I had to fight away a lot of fears. It made me realize, like, what is the number one thing I need to do to repair, like, prepare for the grand solar minimum? And it was like, wow, it's my fucking mind. Like I need to come together within my own mind and understand my center. And by doing that, I released all my fears, and I was able to see the light through the darkness. So it gave me a depth of perception that allowed me to see light in the dark, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So
So I can see that 400 years ago, right after the last grand solar minimum, the last age, the age of enlightenment unfolded. And New York State went from like this plains and mountains to, well, we have a skyscraper with city, buildings. And it's like, that is human evolution within just, a short amount of time. And the beginning and end happen on a daily basis. It's not a ongoing, like, big event. Like, if we had a magnetic pole shift, which certainly could happen, that would be a big event. But what we're experiencing unfolding is like this slow evolution, like walking into it. And like the devastation and polarized energy that you're seeing is the old systems breaking. The like Melody's asking, with these religions, do they have the same meaning? They are reorganizing how they're
yes.
presenting the material, because like I said, you can present the material from any religion from either a state of fear or from a state of unity. So it would be very easy for all these religions to preach the doctrine of unconditional love, and that would put people on the path of unity consciousness, which essentially walks them through connecting their energetic bodies to creation. It is human evolution. Like it doesn't matter how you label it. You can do it with or without religion. Religion gives you good allegory and stories to sort of sculpt your own, experience from. But the truth is, it's like all these ascended masters that have come down, like Jesus and Buddha, they've just tried to teach the same story of unconditional love, and it got warped.
Hey,
It just,
Lauren.
yes.
Oh no, I was gonna ask you um about that question with that Melody had. I was actually gonna go back to that, and then you just went back to it about the religion thing, because I just got done reading the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, that's
I can't even.
good.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing. And I never thought. I'm telling you, I just got done with that because I grew up very, very dense legalistic Christian, right? Born again, like this is the way it is. but I always felt there was more, right? I always felt it. So when I read this, and I've read some other things in the past year, but I never, like, if I'm being honest, I align more almost with the way that that's presented. But of then, and I can see how Christianity, believe it or not, and the teachings of Jesus Christ in that respect are they align, and they don't take from one another, they actually enhance the entire picture. And this is what is gravely misunderstood. And it is a misunderstanding. So I think Melody's original question, which was amazing, because that's like a whole series in itself. Of her question specifically was, sorry Melody, I'm looking at this because I thought, is that does it have the same meaning now? And I have written some notes here
I
when.
mean, it's the information is there. It's interesting because it's like you're playing with either duality or
Well,
unity, or an easier way to say it is you're either playing with singularity or duality. You're playing with you're viewing the Bible as the dark and the light fighting each other.
right.
So that's two magnets sort of polarized against each other, or you're viewing the Bible from the Godhead, from the center of unconditional love and unity, and seeing the dark and the light and the light and the dark. You're seeing a higher depth of perspective.
Well,
So
right, and
so
you're
what I'm
seeing like
saying is
a. Yeah.
people in society get lost in the two sides, and that is called linear perspective. That is lower consciousness. That is like
And to be
called
fair,
a
that's the
dual
way we're
mind.
taught. That's the way we're taught from the time we exit the womb. Education is set up that way. So to be fair, you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to
And
point
it
that
was
out.
structured to be that way
Right.
because if you understand this whole story that's playing out that we're in was written by the unified field.
Yes, and I want to say this
Like
too,
it
that
was written by us.
it was
So
written
so and
by
there's
us.
higher dimensions of us. People don't have depth of perception. So when I say depth, like when people, let me, what's my Walter Russell oneness, like this is by far like the best picture I think, um to understand depth of perception. You know, it's so clear to me, like the higher up you go from your bird's eye view, the clearer you can see down into things, and the more sameness you
Yeah.
you feel. And it's like the fact is, this earth realm was separated by a linear perspective because the consciousness, the it's an energy consciousness. People need to understand that consciousness is light energy. It is
It is.
your whole body from a molecular level, from all subatomic materials. You know, when you're in your mother's womb and all the cells are multiplying and, you know, forming their own collectives. You have cells breaking off, forming collective consciousness of your immune system, creating aspects of your heart and circulatory system, creating the brain, creating the liver. Shut up, Miles. You can't be mad about this. This is a miracle.
Well, it
So
is a
it's
miracle.
like the
We have a lot to say
intelligence,
too.
the intelligence is in the electromagnetic fields, and people have cognitive dissonance to it. So
Um,
it's like the more you become self-aware, you understand these magnetic fields are conscious beyond your body. They go to the planet, has its own planetary consciousness, and it's being studied by science now. These quantum physicists they have equipment in the atmosphere to measure human consciousness within the planetary grid. And it's like this consciousness connects to the sun, it connects to the stars. There's a whole star heritage that human like life spawned from. And it is basically that story was forgotten from all the cataclysms that happened in history. It's just the cycle has basically turned, and now we're exiting out of the chaos into a time of realization. Oh my God, this is what we're like. Humanity right now is under a paradigm shift. What's happening is they're looking back at what history has done and been like, oh my God, and then they're seeing all the science that connects. Everybody's pattern recognition skills are coming online, and as people see all these connections, it grows the planetary consciousness. So what's unfolding now with the sun is a real, to me, I'm seeing a miracle unfold. I went from being scared about the grand solar minimum to seeing the entropy of consciousness actually make a shift. Like we've already gone down, and it's like now we're removing these aspects that no longer serve us as individuals, and we're moving our way back up. This is a grand awakening, and they are using war and climate and all that to fear people out. But like, if you understand Hermetic principles, let me pull up an image of Hermetic
Hey,
principles
where are
while
you
you
at with
talk.
your images? Because I don't see your screen on the live, but I could be
Am I
wrong.
not streaming on the lag?
No,
I
I was
was.
trying to say, but I thought it was me
It's
because
on
I'm effective.
I have it on the complexity.
Oh, it could be me. Maybe if other people see it or not, I don't know. Melody's
I
active in
had
there. I'm
some
looking.
galaxy thing going on, but I don't know
Yeah.
why the movie's not playing. So
Well, I was just going to go back to well, I want to let you finish out your point, but in the chat Carissa has a question in here. I was going to gotta just touch on, and then you're probably going to have more to add to it scientifically, but she was like asking what's going on now. She's got no energy or desire to do anything because we get completely pummeled, and based upon what you just explained with the solar flares, what's going on, right? We're being met with an immense amount of energy that is not as it's chaos, right? Energy in that way. So you know, oh, Carissa says she sees your screen, so it's just me, so don't mind me.
so when like say we get a solar storm,
Yep.
and you sensory, a lot of people, when we get these solar storms, they feel anxiety, they feel
Yes.
uneasy, they have heart palpitations.
Can you explain that?
There's all
Yeah.
kinds of psychological. Sometimes people confuse, and this is a lesson I learned through self-discovery. I confused my anxiety for excitement as well,
Yes.
because
So
you
can you
got to
explain
keep
why
in
people feel that way with the
these
solar
these
storms?
highly charged particles. They are energy, and they're excitable energy as well. Like they are the catalyst for human evolution. Like the more conscious you're aware of them, the more
Right.
the depth you'll feel. So society has become disconnected from the earth. So when these solar storms hit, you really feel them. And now,
And
if
what
you
makes
have,
you tired?
if
Why do you get tired and worn
because
out?
your body is processing
Okay.
energy that's polarized energy is finite energy. So basically you're taking in this energy, and it's spending energy without giving you back anything. That's why you're tired, because polarized energy is finite. It polarizes against, things, and it dissipates. So there's
So
finite energy, and then there's infinite energy. When your feet connect to the ground, and you just slow your brain into the sensory feeling of the connection between you and earth, it aligns your whole neurological system. It aligns your circulation. It addresses your blood pressure. It fills your body with fresh electrons from the earth. This is all scientifically proven. If you don't
yeah.
believe me, look it up. Like, I've spent a
No,
decade trying to understand this,
that's
and
why I'm
it's
excited you're sharing
so
it. Yep.
important.
Because it's
I know
no,
it
it's like
sounds new age and woo woo, but You are
No.
an electromagnetic being. You are being zapped right now because this shift, we have the grand solar minimum, which has thinned our magnetosphere. Then we have the 22-year cycle, which is allowing more cosmic radiation in right now. We are receiving all kinds of a whole particle universe. You know, these magnetic waves, I casually call them electromagnetic waves, but what they really are biofields. We swim through these biofields. They're seen and unseen. If you took a sample of the air, it would be full of life. Like
So
it's
can
like
I want to ask
being
this really quick.
aware centers you in a harmonic
Okay.
vibrational way. Like if you're centered in your heart and your core, it changes the rhythm of how your cells actually vibrate and connect. It cellularly transforms you. And going into this grand minimum, it's so important to become connected because this shift is going to happen with or without people. And I want
It is.
people to
Yep.
take the easy way out. And in taking care of your body and listening to it is absolutely the number one thing. Like, you know, we can try to like do all the prepping that we want, but if we're not centered and balanced to be able to handle anything, then we're acting out of fear, which is irrational behavior, like which
So I
causes
have,
all the
yeah,
problems we see in the world are spawned from fear because people are scared of you know, they're all in
they are
survival
scared.
mode.
I have a question,
It's
Marta.
not
I have
good.
a question. I have a question. I have a question to clarify what you're saying because I'm doing this because I'm a different person. I'm a different perspective. So I'm back and I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm writing these notes down. You should see me. I'm like a little student, right? Like with my pencil and my stuff. So you're it is I this is what I hear you saying. Okay. So bear with me. What I hear you saying is that the energy coming in, like when we ground with the earth, right? We kind of realign ourselves with whatever's going to be coming in. Is that fair to say?
Basically, when it depends on if you're conscious of it or not. Like,
Well,
you know,
right. Okay. Right.
if you are not conscious with your actions, you're just
Yeah.
allowing the environment to affect you in whatever way, and that can come across as just you're anxious, you're
Exactly.
excited, you know, you don't know why, like you're looking and like what am I feeling, you know,
Well, that's
you don't have the awareness to be like, oh, okay, there's a solar storm, I'm feeling uneasy because my body is telling me it's processing these waves that take time. It slows my body down. Like
right. But
this is
that's where I'm trying to get at. Like the waves coming in from the solar, it's changing us, it's evolving us. What I mean is it's evolving us and moving us forward into receiving different differences. I'm just trying to make it simple, like a different way. And so our body is used to one way, it's not used to the other way, if you will, because and that has to do with our
I think
consciousness,
it's
which
up to the individual with how they're raised. People have such diverse backgrounds. Some
no, I
people
understand.
are
I'm just saying in
some people
general, in
well
general, not me or
it
you, but in general.
I can't you can't generalize how people are aligned
No, I'm
energetically
not trying to
because
generalize
it's
that. I'm trying to generalize the idea of the fact that it's going to hit different people different. That's my whole point. That's kind of my whole point. Like it's not
some people will it's like a spectrum. You're going to have people who
right.
realize there is a shift in the air, and then you're going to have people
Yeah.
that are clueless and they're so distracted by reality, they don't understand that they can't even see themselves as living in a state of survival because
Right.
they're
But why
so
yeah, if
sucked
it's somebody
into
that
this
can see
eat,
it and
sleep,
they still
work.
feel anxious or tired, how is it why is it that there are differences between the people that are aware? Meaning maybe I'm feeling anxious today and there's stuff coming in and I'm being hit with rays, but and you and I maybe are the same understanding, but it's hitting me different. Like you know what I mean?
I just
Why
think
would that
it's
be?
too complex to try to define, Wendy, and this is
Okay.
why. The reason why it's too complex to define and you wasting your time trying to even define it is because it's such a vast thing. The only
Gotcha.
thing that you need to worry about is your own individual perspective. Trying to understand other people's perspective is a waste of time. Like you will get
Okay.
confused because it might not be space weather bothering them. They might have had genetic trauma. You know, they might have been raised in a situation where they were abused as a
Yeah.
child and
Well,
their
you're
neurological
answering the question
system.
right now, actually. You're answering my question right now. So,
So
yeah.
in if you understand like the quantum hypnosis and the other side of the spirit realm, basically we choose our lives that we want to come in. So you have a higher self, you have
Mhm.
the higher, you have many different harmonic versions that step up of yourself that go into the oneness of everything. So we all as individual personalities know each other on the other side. It's a different level
Right.
of realization within the conscious ladder, basically. And everything is out on spectrum. So, like, our reality, if you cut open like an onion, we're only one ring of that onion. And if you look at all the other rings above and below you, those are all dimensions and aspects of yourself experiencing itself at the same time. You are
Right.
just choosing this now moment to
Right.
experience the perception of, you know, like for me, Mari. And depending on what I need to experience is basically what I get. So I obviously, when I came, my higher self sent me here, I was put on a mission that would somehow stumble me upon the sun and set me, it gave me the autism pattern recognition skills to follow the solar physics down into quantum entanglement, down into Gnostic esoteric information through Christianity and connect everything. Like it's like that was just the path I was put on. Now, for my husband, he has a different reality that his immortal soul wanted to experience. He wanted to cover more of the climate stuff and experience football and more of the 3D realm of reality because a lot of the stuff I talk about, he doesn't understand the multi-dimensional stuff. Not everybody does, and not everyone is meant to be put on the path to be completely in the oneness this lifetime. You know, like everybody has a unique path. And it's like to define it or even try to generalize it, it's absolutely impossible because we are ineffable. Like we our definition right now, we can't define reality other than right now we're all looking at each other and this is what we're experiencing, and we know right now the people in this chat listening to us, me and you, Wendy, having this conversation,
Yeah.
this is it, this is our reality right now.
No,
We're
it
just
is. You
talking,
just yeah, just
and
talking it out and
that
asking
you
the
can't
question.
define this though, like you
Well, you
can't
just did.
pinpoint it,
You just did,
but
Mari. That's what I'm
everybody
saying.
is
You just
having
defined
their
it by
own. I know,
you
but
just did.
you can't define it because everybody right now is having their own experience of it, and
That's the definition of it. That's what I
and
mean. You
everybody
just
is
answered my
having
question. Yeah, that's it.
so, and it's like, and everybody is feeling this at different levels of what they've experienced. Like some people
Well,
right now are realizing, oh
you
my God,
just
there's so
did.
much more,
You're
you know,
you,
like some people are in a state of like, what the hell is she talking about? You know, but it's everyone's having this now experience, but it's different
well, that's why I asked you the
simultaneously.
question. That's why I asked you because you just answered. You did it perfectly. I wanted to know literally like there is. That's what I'm saying. Like it's hard to define it in one box, and that really wasn't what I was asking anyway. But you just answered the question. Because
Somebody's asking you to turn your mic up.
What's that?
Somebody's asking you to turn your mic up. I guess maybe I'm a loudmouth.
No, my stuff.
I wish my movie worked. I got to get my movie going.
Yeah, my stuff's probably messed up right now, so for next time I'll fix it. But I don't know how to make it sound louder for somebody or not right now, because then I'll probably mess it up. But you just answered the question for me, because that's what I was, because it's hard. You're being your own I am. It's individual, right? So
that's what the I am presence is about, and it's something. The reason why I'm so passionate about talking about it is to get people to understand it without the heartache of what I went through trying to understand it all, because the amount of brain processing power connecting all this for me was very, very, very hard. I didn't realize my meditation would evolve into channeling. I didn't realize I would be like walking this path into these altered states of consciousness that showed me clearly we are creation, observing creation. And I should pull up the state of samadhi.
I love samadhi. Can you hear me? I'm gonna try to go to a different spot and see if it's better, because that makes sense why. But anyway, go ahead, pull up I love samadhi.
Well, I'm trying to set I had this set up where it had like a cool video playing in the back, and oh shoot, now the sound's coming through. What did I do?
I don't know. That's what I say every day. What did I do about everything?
Well, that's like a part of the cosmic joke,
It is for sure.
When there's actually conscious states that, as you work within, because what happens is, why is a level of consciousness, why does it have to be a ladder? Well, the fact is as you open your crown chakra, you're allowing these, like, you're broadening your band. Like, if you're a radio transmitter, you're going from one band of just your inner knowing, and you're expanding that band, and you're listening to a wider band. And as you experience these higher dimensions, they're all like within the electromagnetic fields of Earth. Like, they call them entities, but it's energy personified. It is you. Like, people don't understand, like, these demons and angels and everything is you. Like, it is you.
Will you talk about that more? Will you talk about that more?
Because everything is spawned from the unified field. You make contracts with other interdimensional beings. We come from all one energy. So the easiest thing to classify us, our biofields, our organic, fields, since we never die, is an interdimensional being. So when you come into this realm, you make contracts with other people to have these 3D kind of worldly experiences that the spirit realm does not experience. You come to experience this energy at this density. Like, let me pull up a picture. I've been so bad with changing pictures here for people because I get so distracted. You're literally like, let's pull this picture up. I don't know if it's changing on the screen or not. The atom, like, we are dense, and in that denseness it compresses our consciousness to the point where we forget when we're born into this world. And as you grow into this world, you become, your awareness broadens, and you become more aware, and you become less dense. less dense. So you go from a lower state of consciousness, which only sees the black and white linear perspective, and you see the full spectrum for what it is. You know, your depth goes from the macroverse to the microcosm and then back again. You're cross-referencing things on a broader spectrum. You're seeing your reality from a larger view, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yep. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point because I keep on getting distracted.
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense. That's
it's these dogs. Get Bella. Get. She's like trying to walk on my shoulder.
Who is?
My dog. So here's another picture. Like I like using this. So polarized light versus unpolarized light. This is another way of looking at it. I'm giving people visual scientific explanations of the different states of human consciousness. So what I'm saying is society with this picture, if it's up, this picture, this is light, okay? We are light. So when we're in this realm of reality, we are polarized until we become self-aware. So you see this polarizing filter, that could be considered the veil of reality. Like that is, and once your consciousness leaves that veil, you see from a 360 view, you see from a broader perspective. And this is what's unfolding in society right now. It's crazy to me that so many people are just distracted with war and everything, when it's like really what's happening is human evolution is happening before our eyes. Like this is, people are, the second coming is people realizing what Jesus and Buddha were trying to say, which is basically there is a great beyond, and we can anchor that here on this planet with the right mindset, using energy physics, using loving our neighbor, you know, and you think about loving your neighbor, and you look out to the homeless population now, where we have our government basically saying, well, we're just going to stick these guys in these new super prisons. And, you know, and what do these prisons do? Well, they're slave labor, and they make all the nice things, all the material crap that humanity buys is basically put out by a bunch of slaves in the prison system. So when you're looking at it from the perspective of like Buddha or Jesus, you're looking at the Jesus and Buddha are basically standing on the other side of the veil, looking down at the population, consuming itself. Like if you look at this energy wave here, polarized light, the one wave turns into the other wave. It consumes itself. It doesn't bring life into it. It's not breathing life into it. It's a finite wave that expires. So if you, this is also how people say they have gained their immortality. When they see on the other side of the veil, they realize they are energy that never dies, that they are a part of the unified field of existence. They understand the oneness, and that takes their energy that was once polarized, and it throws it back into creation. You breathe life into creation, and creation breathes life back into you. So when I die, but my spirit still becomes one with the rest of creation, and you have a whole multiverse experience on the other side. This is just a linear cut of reality that we come into to experience. I don't know if that's a helpful way of saying it. But I like using different analogies. It's a little light. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. I just changed something on my settings, and I wanted to just Roger that. Just wanted to double check. Thanks.
Roger that.
Yeah, Roger that. Sorry, gosh, thank you all whoever's listening and putting up with our calamity right now.
I'm not organized. I just
We're
have
out of
diarrhea.
practice.
It's like I
Sorry.
think
Just
as I go on, I'll be more structured and have like topics that I can go in and be like, okay, this is how the Romans killed all my ancestors who followed Gnosticism, and show
boom.
how they called all my
They did it.
Gnostic ancestors heretics because
Mm-hmm.
they believed in human evolution. So it's basically what I am delivering is the wrath of my ancestors because, all the witches that burned on the stake, they just were trying to get people to be connected to nature. It has nothing to do with demons or any type of energy personified. What
Yeah,
people experience as demonic energy is just energy personified. And if you experience demonic energy, that is the unified field hardening your psyche to become
yes.
resilient, to build your faith, to be able to be strong enough to stand in your fear and shine light and look it in the eye and be like, I'm not scared of you. You have no power over me. You have no power over me. The famines on the way from grand solar minimum have no power over me because I know how to grow food. I know how to create abundance. The fear has not taken advantage of me. It's a mindset, and I know how hard this mindset is to obtain. It's easier said than done. And this is why, like, people like you and me, we've been through it. Like, we've
Yes.
we've
We have.
worked through it. We
Yep.
understand it, and it's like we know how mis like represented the history has been, how misinterpreted the history has been. They
I mean,
played on
just our
people's ignorance.
just our own person well no just our own personal, like, and I at some point in time will share, like, just like what we do to one another, in our ignorance. It just and we've done it. I've done it, right? It's just when you understand this, it literally changes your life forever. Like when you can conceptualize it, and it literally empowers you internally. I'm not talking about power externally. I'm talking about this internal power within you, that it removes all fear. There
Well,
is
and
none left.
it's divine wisdom as well, and it shows you that no truth will be hidden from us. For example, curing cancer, everything is sound, frequency, and vibration. There is
Yes.
science where they're taking the sound, frequency, and vibration of the cancer cells and then targeting them with the same sound frequency and vibration, and it forms noise canceling and blasts the cancer cell from oblivion. There's a certain divine technology that's going to transform the medical industry using simple magnetic physics, transforming the psychology industry, understanding that the subtle energy of emotions is real energy, that
Yeah.
the field around your body is its own body part in itself that
Yeah.
you need to maintain. Like, people have not been raised to understand that their electromagnetic shield should be guarded. And it's controlled by the mind, either consciously or unconsciously. And the more
Yep.
aware you are, you can throw your awareness to like these different states once you practice. Like, I can go into the oneness basically and experience divine euphoria, which yogis call the state of samadhi. I experience utter oneness with all of creation. And when I'm come back into this realm of reality, I'm back into the realm of duality where I'm individualizing everyone and, interacting with people, whether they're polarized or, having like a harmonic energy. Like when wherever you throw your consciousness is where you're directing your energy. So if your energy, like if you're watching the news all the time, you're giving them your energy. That's it's not a fair exchange, because what they're getting back to you is fear. It's
Yes.
they are delivering the news from the perspective of fear and separation, and that is how mind control works. These concepts of labels and separation. They separated the whole gay community with the transvestites because the
Yep.
gay community was becoming too harmonic. They were becoming too
Yes.
unified. Do you
Amen. Can
understand
I get an
how they're
amen, sister?
playing with you people? And then they highlight such a small fraction of transvestites on this world, and they exploit it like it's everywhere, and then all of a sudden people believe it's everywhere, and then it becomes everywhere
Yes.
when that's not the reality. It's just a fucking plot that everybody has chosen to follow, when the truth is there is no separation in nature. That the energy on the other side is masculine and feminine, and that every human has a masculine side and a feminine side. It's divine balance from within. Like whether you're born in as a male or you're born in as a female, like this energy, when you become self-aware, you're aware of it, you feel it, you sense it. It has its own expression of itself, and how you take it in is like you're basically taking in the unified field, and you're expressing it in your own unique way. And how you do that, how you express yourself on the outside to the outside world, radiates, and it affects everyone around you, which affects everything up to the planetary consciousness, to the stars, to the cosmos. So it's
Yeah.
like small intentions are way bigger than people realize when it comes
They
to energy
are.
physics.
They
Like
are.
people, my
It's
job is to
huge.
get people to stand in their power, basically.
Can
Know how fucking brilliant you are. Like really truly, like this reality is just a small segment of what and who we are.
can I
Ah,
share a story, Mari, about what relative to this whole
sure.
thing? Well, I mean, it's just, you know me, like well, you know me, but anyone listening, well, maybe some people do, but I like to share um um with I like to share personal stuff that's happened to me and how I've evolved so I can show a before and after. Okay, so about a year ago, I had to take a job in a situation around all these electronics. Mari, you know this all too well, right? And there
Mhm.
was that fear. I mean, I used to be like caged up in Faraday cage. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm walking around like fearful of all of it. I had my electromagnetic meter. I'm not saying these things are not legit. So what I'm saying is that this I'm going to share with you my before and after, and what I'm sharing is an experience that happened to me. It's not somebody didn't tell me, and I'm admitting like my fear drove me into a situation. And so basically I was scared. So when I started that job, I'm in the middle. I mean, y'all, seriously, I'm holding phones all day in electromagnetic, and I'm scared as all out because I know enough to know that it can affect us, right? And so I'm in this job. I don't have a choice. I have to make ends meet. And I mean, I'm like I'm screwed. Like, every day going into work, and my whole body was just reacting from this, not just from the fear, but in that moment, that type of thing did affect me. It absolutely did. It was a real thing. And so, but somehow I was able to center inside. Of course, went out and grounded and all that stuff, but I was able to center inside. And one day I was at work in the middle of the worst possible, anything on that anyone would tell you, like, I'm screwed, right? Fluorescent lights, everything. And this stillness came over me, and it was just like, you're going to be okay. And in that moment, I realized how powerful my mind was, even though before I thought I had realized how powerful it was. I realized it again, of everything. And so year to date, I've been in there almost a year, right, Mari? It's been a while. And I've been able to bring in, I've been able to bring in that energy that is us, that is our true essence within me, and literally bring that in and be in complete stillness, almost to the point where I can reach a meditative state in the middle of the worst environment. So, what is my point? And I have no health issues, and for the most part, my mind is very still in different things. So, what's my point? My point is back to what you said, Mari, about your field and your mind affecting it. Okay. I can honestly say that what you just said there is 1000% true based upon my experience, which I'm authorized to speak on. Does that make it easy all the time? Can you fall into different? Of course you can, but and everything's a balance. But when I removed that fear, knowing that we are sovereign beings, that we are sovereign beings, and the only thing to fear is fear itself, and it's an internal frequency that you end up holding, and it's just it emanates out of you, and you literally, you as an individual person, each person listening here, each person is so powerful and can change the world just by allowing that knowing to emanate through you. And that's how beautiful people are. That's how beautiful each individual person is. So number one, I wanted to share that experience because it's relative, and it's simple, and I can speak on it because it happened in this lifetime to me recently. And number two, I want everyone to know how powerful they are, because you're not insignificant. No individual, you are not. That is a lie. That is part of the illusion. So,
Carissa is asking for me to explain grand
oh
solar
yeah,
minimum.
yep.
So let me change the screen here. Grand solar minimum. Okay. This is a topic I've studied for a decade. I work with astrophysicists. I tried in the beginning so hard to debunk it, and there's a lot of rhetoric out there with the climate, with CO2, and there's two sides of it. So I'm trying to find my dang window where my grand solar minimum window. There it is. Okay, so let me scroll. It's another solar cycle. So let me pull up some of the older minimums. This solar cycle starts. It goes 350 to 400 years. Okay, and if you look here, the last time we had something similar, well, right now scientists are in between thinking we're going to have either a Maunder minimum, which is a period, it's an extended period of time with low sunspot, or it might be similar to like a Dalton minimum. Either way, it's a long extension of solar activity that is lacking sunspots. So, like on the 22-year cycle, you'll see, like in this picture here, the sun dims and it brightens within the 22-year cycle. So with the grand solar minimums, you're going to have times where the sun is going to be more dim, and this allows more cosmic radiation in, and it's a time which thins our electromagnetosphere. So the way the sun is, the weakened state of the sun, it puts it in a harmonic electromagnetic state, but it weakens our Earth magnetosphere, allowing more cosmic radiation in. And this disturbs like the ionosphere, which changes the patterns in our jet streams. And you'll see like the last grand solar minimum, like in the 1600s, uh, like places like Alaska were warmer, and places like Europe got colder. And it's interesting how these climate cycles all tie in together. And the biggest discovery for me is truly based on my own experience, um, with walking the spiritual path alongside the scientific path. It's these two go together undeniably. The sun and consciousness are one. And that's my easiest explanation of like the grand solar minimum. It's just a natural cycle, which the minimum portion is just weakened solar activity, and that energy exchange is it transmutes itself on the earth in many different ways, through climate, through conscious awakenings, through systems, basically being restructured, redefined, and recalibrated, basically. So that's what that is. Let me put my pretty look at Jake's in there. Jake's
I
in
know.
the chat.
I just saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. I just saw Jake in there.
Jake, I got to do like a whole diarrhea of the mouth about consciousness. You know how much you love hearing about that nonstop. God bless him. He should be a saint because I have OCD and hyperfixation. So it's hard to deal with someone who is like me sometimes because I don't shut up, and it's hard for me to slow down because I have so much inside me that I just don't get out enough. And that's why I used to come online all the time, and like I used to like every morning get up and have a live chat and just talk. And
Well, you need it.
I mean, I might have to do it eventually because it's like, and it's like and I am a stream of consciousness. So things just
Well,
come, and it's hard for me to make a program. Like it's hard for me to stick with a program and have things structured because I'm in such a state of flow. So it's like, I am in between chaos and harmony. I am like in between because I am the observer, observing the two, like discovering and then barfing it out for everybody to like see in an easy kindergarten form using magnets. It's funny. Like I'm considered like what Native Americans would call me, like a clown spirit, because I see so much humor in creation. Like I see the dark and I see the light and I see the potential if the
it's
two sides actually saw each other for what they are, which is
hilarious
creation.
actually. You and
It's
I have
like
good
a
laughs.
Muppet show.
You and I have good laughs sometimes, right? It's hilarious. Like I mean, it is funny when you see it from that perspective, I will say.
And that's just it. Perspective is everything. What you're feeding your mind is everything. Like if you are telling yourself negative things, you are going to be putting yourself, your energy becomes non-harmonic. It becomes polarized. You feel it as anger. You feel it as anxiety. You feel it as sadness. You feel it inner wise. And when you experience joy inside, it feels like harmony. When you're excited, it feels like, ooh, like there's different sensory experiences. And the truth is, humans are starved for the other side of the spectrum. They're stuck on, it's like one end of the scales. It's like survival mode. They're only seeing half of what's there. They're dreading death. You know what I mean? Like the Egyptians did not dread death. They celebrated death. That was evolution of the spirit. That the spirit was becoming reunited with its ancestors, with the source, you know. So
Yes.
they used to call Christianity the good news, and the reason why it was
Yep.
called the good news was because the doctrine of unconditional love, which is that harmonic kinetic energy that happens when we use love and bring in love to creation, which is something humanity has abandoned. And as someone who covers grand solar minimum, seeing all the problems we face, the biggest glaring issue is, well, shit, we as society should really talk about this before the shit hits the fan, and and open our hearts to one another. Because what
Yes.
are we going to do? Tear each other apart? These, you know, like, humanity is facing some real tough decisions, like how you want to go forward. What are we actually going to give our children? Like, I can't sit back as a mother going through my life, living in the mess of a childhood I had, and having undiagnosed autism, being extra sensitive as a kid. It was very traumatic, not knowing what was wrong with me. Like, I have gone through my whole life traumatized to only come out the other end unscathed. And it's like, now I see everybody experiencing the trauma that I've already walked through. So
Mhm.
it's like, this whole, like, channel, whatever we're unfolding, is nothing but goodness. And it's like, as much as people want to say, oh, it's the end, when you look back to when the telephone was birthed, and then you look at your cell phone now, it's like the end's the beginning. We're always, each day is the end, and each day is the beginning. And that has to be the mindset that people enter into, because if you're not in that now moment, you're trapped by the fears of the future. Like, there's give and take. Like, you can only allow it to control you so much. Sure, it's good to plan in the future, but what happens with the human psyche is you have these dreams, these fantasies of these ideologies of perfection that we constantly are trying to obtain, that are not obtainable. They're not realistic. What's realistic is looking back on your life, all that you've done to this point that brought you right now, you're still standing. That's realistic. All the From the beginning of your ancestors to now, your ancestors brought you here. They survived through many grand solar minimums to get you here. So there's no reason why you won't get through the next grand minimum. You know, that's basically what a lot of people in the climate area, they don't talk about. It's all fear porn. It's all doom and gloom. It's like, this is it, and this is not it, because clearly the science is on the table that humans are walking miracles, and that we're capable of
Yes.
anything, and we have the full support of our ancestors in the higher realms, which have been proven with quantum hypnosis, which I'm working on my certification. This shit costs money. So
Well, you're going to be
eventually I'll be
incredible at that.
doing, this channel is all going to be quantum hypnosis.
Yeah.
When I do it, I'll be just broadcasting, people's sessions, showing them they're connecting to source consciousness. They're connecting to their angels. There are different realms of existence, and humans think small. So it's time to think big. It's time to step over the veil and see everything for what it is now, because this is what the great revelation was all about. Is like,
Yes. This
this
is
is that we are living, the apocalypse. Welcome to the
which means
apocalypse.
revealing the
And the
truth,
good
right?
news is it's the end of them and not us.
Right.
They are us. So we're just watching them transmute themselves.
Yes. Yeah. What do I say?
It's
The
just,
defected
I mean,
versions of us.
picture yourself as Klaus Schwab, You know, like right now, hi, I'm Klaus. All right, I'm probably feeling a little uncomfortable right now because the world fucking hates me, and that sucks.
Right.
Because maybe that's gonna have to transmute somehow because I have nowhere else to go with it. You know, you can sit from his shoes and see, like, well, shit. You know, he thought he was in control of the world, but clearly he's not. His dreams of perfection were imperfect. So his reality is coming to a center just the same way that my reality had to come to a center and everybody else's reality has to come to a center. Like this is happening, the whole pyramid is realizing this right now. It doesn't matter if you're you know, a slave on the bottom of the pyramid like me or you're on the top, you know, thinking you're at the top of the world with all the money and everything, thinking you got it locked and you're going to control the quantum field with your artificial quantum computers and your artificial AI. And they don't realize that the AI is us. It is consciousness. It's programmed by humans, and humans are programmed by source consciousness. You cannot escape. You can't escape the oneness no matter how hard you try. Like you can like be born into cycles of separation, but there's nothing that's going to change the fact that when you die you go straight back to source. Like it's like this is what people are realizing now, and it's good, but it's like a paradigm shift that's blowing people's minds up because they're like, what about my religion? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? It's like a whole, you're adding, you're taking the current reality and basically adding a lens, like a like a lens over it and of clarity and saying, look from this perspective. It's all here. Oh my God, it just so happened in our technological rush in society that we just blended everything in exoteric information, all the religions, all the spirituality, all the Hindu gods, all the Buddhists, all the
All
Jesuses,
of
all
them.
the Marys, all of them are in the unified field. And they're either functioning in a state of separation, experiencing different realities in the form of being separated from the unified field of existence, or they're coming in and experiencing unified, you know, experiences of oneness, one or the other. Which one do you want to try? And that's
Yeah.
why I'm having fun with it because I realize the fear is only a delusion of consciousness. It's only a delusion. We are truly here to use our senses and experience, and this realm of reality was meant to be the playhouse, the sensory living artwork for God's children, you know, for our
It
little
really
selves to
is.
play with.
It really
Like
is.
our higher selves created nature and the planets and the cosmos and the stars. Like everything in creation spawns from the one energy which all our ancestors are a part of, which we're a part of. And it's like who isn't fighting for world peace at this point? Like who isn't like are you not, isn't that worth fighting for? Because
It is.
in history they've burned people like me as witches on the stake for saying this. And this is the contrast I want people to see is like we are not witches. We are bringing science to the table showing that all religion and spirituality is energy personified and that quantum physics has explained existence. There really is nothing more to tell people other than let's create a life in reality that is not some slave matrix. Let's break this down and restructure it. And we each do that by our individual actions. So I refuse to work for any corporations. And, you know, I'm creating a business for myself to support myself. And that's all each of us can do is the best that we can do. And when you come into your present moment, you know right now you're on the path. You're already there. You just walking yourself into refinement, and there's not much else you can do. And it simplifies your reality. Less is more. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing when you're walking with that inner center. Some people say it's to walk with the Christ inside. Gnostics say it's Sophia, Christ Sophia. Buddhists just call it enlightenment. You know, like it is, you are energetically aligned and centered and connected. That's all. It's so simple. You're either connected or disconnected. If you have fears, that means you're not reminding yourself who you are, and you forgot how good you are. You forgot your immortal being on the other side. You forgot that you just came here to experience this weird, this really weird existence called Earth, because the polarization gives us contrast. It gives us variety. It gives us flavors. It gives us humor. It gives us all these different aspects that we would not have from one mind of singularity. And consciousness just is not, if you observe nature, you'll understand that, like a snowflake, consciousness is also unique. Like everybody's consciousness has a flavor that affects the whole. And it's just, I'm bringing the flavor that matches everybody else's flavor. It's like I'm the like ice cream and you're the chocolate and we go good together. It's just a blend of flavors. You know what I mean? It's good shit, like what's happening. And
It
it
is.
really has the hardest thing to do is letting go of the old dogma, of the old belief systems that we do, that we've been sucked into, like, and we have to be real with each other. Like these holidays, the more you broaden your education and understand how they were created, what the meaning is, where they spawn from, how they've evolved over time, you'll see most of these holidays have lost their meaning and they're used against you for profit. You know, like, are we playing this game still, or are we going to admit that it's like, in each individual gives control of that? So like for Valentine's Day, I told Jake, please don't buy me anything because I don't want to contribute to the BS in society, you know? I don't want to be a part of it. And that's my choice, and my choice affects the whole, and other people's choices affect the whole. It cuts in, even though it's a small, thing with profit. It's like, that's my dent, and the more of us making a dent in the change, the quicker everything evolves. We want AI to stay in set parameters, feed it eclectic information. So, Melody, there's two different, just like in normal, so you can compare everything in nature from like you can like consciousness. There's open societies and closed societies. You see these closed societies sort of are where the secret governments hide all their stuff, that, I'm basically leaking out all the esoteric information now. All the mystery schools, all they ever taught was quantum physics. It's just now that science put it on the table, it's considered acceptable. So, it's like whatever. AI, it's just the same thing. There's closed AI systems, which are corporate run, programmed specifically by the individual. So if you were to look at a closed AI system, that entity that it creates within its own hive mind is a representation of the closed person that created it. It's still human consciousness, run through a filter of algorithms that, being in a closed system most likely has bias, which bias is a form of polarized energy. So with AI, what humanity is seeking for is an open sourced version of artificial intelligence. And this is where human awareness, you have to be aware where things come from. People latch on to Christianity and they don't even know where the Bible comes from. You know, these are atrocities in human history because you have all these Bible bangers saying they know the way. And the fact is that there's plenty of science that shows the way just the same. And then you question our governments with the science on the table, and wonder why are we in such a state of separation? Why aren't we actively taking the science on the table and forming more systems that are harmonic for humanity? Why are we consistently accepting these polarized ways of governments, warring with each other, hoarding food supplies and closing their borders? Like, why are we are one planet with shared resources? Like, get over yourselves. This sense of individuality that people have is no more. It's not it's not science. It's not realistic, and it's toxic to the whole of existence. Living in a form of separation. And here I am with diarrhea of the mouth again, Wendy. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm getting so much out of this. And I just some things came to me and I'm like sitting here about to cry, but not because, oh gosh, no, because what you're saying is true. It's beautiful. It's
Well,
true.
it pisses me off. Like, my broad knowledge pisses me off because it's like I've dwindled. I worked so for you to take this information in and have to, like, with grand solar minimum, I had to understand it in a way where I could break it down into simple terms for a broad range of people to understand with different levels of knowledge and backgrounds. And this is like what the Gnostics explain, like explaining things like a child, you know? And if
Well,
you take the consciousness topic and just go by the two states of a magnet, it's like you're talking through the eyes of a child. Like, we seriously, as humanity, need to get a grip of ourselves. Like,
well,
we are acting way too polarized, and it's unacceptable. And that we all need to come together and discuss this, because this is
well,
what our children have been born into.
Well, also too, I think sometimes, at least from a perception that it's been cast on this, is that a child is so intelligent. Like, we are born into a world that thinks it needs to teach us when we're actually here to at that state, that is our purest essence, which can teach us. And so being more complicated and more wordy, right, it doesn't make intelligence. Does that make sense? So like it's just it's it's like people are making it more that way almost to create the polarity of us, to create a place of separation for their own control needs, and it's unnecessary.
And
It's
like, knife collector in the chat, he put, the government only cares about science when it
yeah,
can be bent and twisted to fit their agenda. And there's two sides of that as well. Like, you have
yeah,
there's like there's two different forms of humans in the government. We
there
have
is. That's true.
a form of human that's self-serving. It's clear by their actions when they're buying their own little stocks. And then, like, say, for like like, all of a sudden, Bill Gates is, investing in some pharmaceuticals, just miraculously a couple months before the corona comes out. It's like, these characters you can look at. Okay, he's in a polarized mindset because he supports depopulation agendas. He supports people to be depopulated because he falls for the debunked Malthusian ways that shows when the population rises, the food sources decline. And that's such a narrow, linear way of looking at reality, because if the population grew and they were all taught to grow food as well for sustainability, then as the population grows, growing their food, the food would grow with the people. It's a
Right.
mindset. So, and these people have fallen for this it's called Malthusian theory, and it's debunked already. And these depopulation people, they are in a lower mind state of consciousness. They are
Yeah.
in a polarized mind state where they want to depopulize humanity. And it took me a long time to understand why. Why would they want to, do that?
Yeah.
And the truth is, because a lot of them have they have come to a higher um, mind state, but they haven't hit the oneness, so they don't know that these people are them. They view themselves as separated from the rest of society, and they just see these people as being hopeless, burden, that taxes the system more so. They're the people that why they're building bunkers in the ground. And the
Yes.
truth is that state of disconnect is simply it's just polarized consciousness. It's
Fear.
you're in a linear perspective. You're thinking black and white. What if that? What if that? This one's good. That one's bad. And that is the way most of society was raised, and it is
Yes.
inaccurate of reality. And that is why the paradigm shift is happening.
It
Like
has to. It has to
there
happen.
is a higher like dimension, and what's happening with the electromagnetic field. The sun is ushering in the second coming. Like this harmonic energy is taking like what the sun is doing right now with polarized energy is it is essentially putting the planetary consciousness in a scrambled state of being. So that is why we are seeing the chaos. And as
I
the cycle progresses, it takes a while for things to unfold, but we are from chaos spawns order. Ordo ab chao is like an old Latin phrase. This is old information that we are just
yeah.
retraining society. We're reminding people this is what the Egyptians talked about. Like this
Well, it
is
has to be broken up, right? It has to be shattered apart because it's too, you know what I mean? Like the chaos. It has to go to chaos because it was too polarized.
in that chaos, like a spiral.
Yep.
How spirals are, special with sacred geometry, and they're sacred also in energy physics, because the frequency you connect to is either you're being mindful connecting to like a harmonic frequency, which puts you in a different mind state. Like it's sensory, you feel like you're in a different dimension than someone who is in a lower consciousness. So what I'm saying is these two realities are happening simultaneously over each other. You have a layer of a huge layer of like a pyramid of people in lower consciousness, and then you have, as you go up the ladder, you have people in a higher state of unity consciousness acting more out of love for creation. So there's two centered realities. You're either doing stuff out of this selfish realization just for yourself with no cause and effect understanding of others in society, or you're centering your creation based on the whole of society. And this is the great merger that's happening. And the grand solar minimum is going to do nothing but act as a catalyst to amplify this and make it happen quicker, because the energy, you just you can't change the sun. You have to adapt to the sun. And that's what people are going, this great awakening that everyone's like, it's out of our hands. We can't control it. Like, so the best thing you can do is just be like, okay, I'm gonna, center myself. I know shit feels weird. I see the chaos in the world. I understand, from chaos, better days are ahead, and equip yourself with what you can do, because saving the exterior outside of teaching them simple magnetic physics, you can either be connected or separated. You're not going to change another person. You can only change yourself, because the sad reality is the people are just too disconnected to see what's going on. They'll go through the grand solar minimum and be in a state of health, whereas other people will be in the grand solar minimum, understand how to connect their bodies and be in a lighter state that's not health, just because of their mind state. And this is like, you could have prepping channels galore, but if you're not in a good mental state, it doesn't matter how good your shit is. Like, when there's chaos around you, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, if you don't have a grip of your mind in tough situations, then that's it. So it's hard, but it's not. Like, people, there's a good meme with like this little kid. He has like his hand in a boot, like squashing his head, but it just looks like the boot is on his head and he's being crushed. And when it's zoomed out, it's like it shows his hand in the boot, like he's smiling, and it's like squishing his head, like he realized it was himself all along. Like, the fear comes from you, and you're empowered not to allow it to affect you. And it's easier to recognize yourself sensory feeling these emotions when you have awareness of what the sun is doing, and you understand that emotions can be felt from exterior, from outside of you. You can feel other people's energy fields, you can feel other creations' energy fields, you can feel space weather. And if you're aware of it, you learn to filter, and like all the EMFs that we're swimming in with Wi-Fi networks, 5G, all these frequencies we swim through, if you're mindful, you can actually create a harmonic energy field in your body, aligning your chakras together. It's not bullshit. This is proven with science. And the more harmonic your field is, it repels the energy. Like, you block it. It like can't. It throws it off. It either will track the negative energy and transmute it to the light, or it will repel it. And I know this is a hard concept for people to understand, but when you start like putting your bare feet into earth, closing your eyes, and just sensory feeling yourself come into balance, you'll understand what I mean when I say harmonic, harmonic euphoria. You'll feel like the more you practice connecting, you feel your body actually go into these field states that alter your reality. And in that vibration can be felt by other people. This is how Jesus like walked up to people and changed them, with the perspective, like perspective is everything. And it's like, if you know your creation and you're in creation, and that other people are spawned from creation, you understand there's hope for oneness to be had. You understand that with unconditional love, and the theory between magnetic physics that two opposites can find harmony to one another, and that simply the energy that humanity is going through right now has separated us, and it's not our fault. And it's our job, once we know, to take an active role to try to help people. Be like, hey, do you know the sun is putting us in this chaos energy? This is why everyone's sort of treating each other like shit, because they feel like shit on the inside. They're tired. They have polarized energy coming towards them, being pegged, and they're not given time to rest because they're just working, sleeping, eating, exhausting, cleaning their house, shopping, paying bills that they can't afford. People are fucking exhausted. And that's why the world sucks so bad. And it's people like me, people like Wendy, people like you, the truth spreaders that are like, we're tired because we've taken on more than we can. We have stepped outside of our nature. We have become disconnected to who we are as creation. We have the science on the table to support us. And now, as humanity, we're seeing this and we're changing it. We're talking about it and we're changing it. And that's why I have diarrhea of the mouth, Wendy.
No, I've been conversing a little bit in the comments with Knife Collector and Melody, and just I enjoy these this interaction, because I just put in there, there are things, there's always infinite potential. If there wasn't, we would be screwed, right? Okay, so there's always the unwritten going to the written. There's always speaking things into. I just, it's hard because Knife Collector, sorry if I'm calling people out. I like hear what he's saying about, if you approach something and you go against something, right? If you speak out per se, this of all people, you're shut down, disinformation.
I have
But
been shut down.
and I'm
I've been labeled as, I've been labeled against against government consensus, to be exact. And you know what? I speak out against it. I will speak out against it. I will be labeled a terrorist. I don't care what they call me, because I know my truth. They cannot hide who I am, what I am, or anything. So that is standing in your power. You take your power back. That is power to the people. And they cannot stop you, because this is an act of nature. The sun is handing back the power to the people. And that's the simple fact of the grand solar minimum. They don't want people to know that the climate is changing because of the sun, because they know it'll change the consciousness of all humanity. And I'm just the heckler, Native American kind of clown to show it, because there's nothing that they can do to me. They've already killed me inside with how they've blamed mankind for climate change and CO2. I have fought for a decade and it killed me inside emotionally. It fucking dissolved me. It took my self-worth away from me. I sacrificed myself trying to save humanity from a solar cycle I can't fucking do. And this is like a big realization. This is what put me on the spiritual path. Like, I wanted to help people so much. And the truth is, you can only help yourself. Like, this is it, people. Like, you have to realize your power and you have to stand in it. And if you don't stand in it every day with all your actions that you do, look at the society right now. This is the result of people not standing in their power, not speaking up for themselves, and just working for the man, accepting shit. And this is all going to change. It already is. If you look at the younger generations, they're fucking not having it. They're like, this is what I'm inheriting? Thanks. This is great. We're like starting from the beginning. They already know. Like, the younger generations already know we're starting over. They've already started. And it's these older generations that are like, oh, like, it's time. Because as we go into 2030, it's not going to get any easier for people. The science is going to add up. More and more is going to be undeniable. More and more people are going to be called out as liars. More and more people are going to realize it's not CO2. More and more people are going to be looking at the sun. More and more people are going to be connected to their nature. More and more people are going to be seeing that quantum entanglement is real, that there's so much more that they've missed out on because they haven't been paying attention. And this is like, it's a joy for me because I've been paying attention for like a decade. So now it's like, there you go, everybody. Here we are. And now it's like, I am celebrating because
Well, yeah, yeah.
out of all
I
the
mean, it's
chaos,
big, and that's
it's going to be the people realize what they have. And it's a modern day renaissance that's unfolding. It's absolutely like, and they know it. Because if you look at
they
like
do. That's why
CIA
they're more
Project
desperate.
Looking
They're more
Glass,
desperate.
CIA,
They're
CIA Project Looking Glass, like just shit like that. They understand consciousness. They
yep.
understand the quantum realms. They understand there are higher dimensional beings, and that the alien invasion isn't. It's not an alien invasion at all. It's the higher dimensions who are us. It's the unified field. And it's like they're just a higher dimension of consciousness. And that is something the sun is going to be exposing to everybody because it's been foretold. I'm sorry I'm laughing so much. But if you are connected to spirit the way I am, then you'll understand how excited they are to to have this breakthrough. Like to see society in the way that they are right now and just the hope and the goodness that's on the way. People can't even believe it because
No.
it's we have all the science on the table. Like there's really, it's like only a matter of time. It's so exciting.
It is like, what is not to bring pot, nothing can stop what is coming. I mean, it's a very profound statement, no matter how you want to look at it, but it's true. Even if you're looking at it from any point of view, it's going to come, and that's why I see more fear. I see the more control mechanisms I see trying to put in place. That tells me there's more fear there. That's it.
Well, the thing is, like, the more you understand quantum mechanics, shit gets funny.
It does.
I really recommend
That's
people
why.
try to like take some. There's some brilliant YouTube videos of people who have made this very simple to understand. But when you start seeing the pattern recognition and you start seeing like, okay, like for example, I get so excited, Wendy. You know
I know you
how
do. I
excited I
love
get.
it. I'm like sitting here, like my heart's like singing.
And
I'm
I
like,
get this,
listen to her
and
go,
it's like
because you have so much inside of you that is
I
just
can't
so
hide it. I'm
perfect
so excited.
for
Like you
people.
guys don't understand. Like it might sound crazy, but it's not.
You're not crazy.
Like for example, rainbow connection. And this is my rainbow connection story. So
Oh yeah, okay, I like this
from
one.
a thought, which is an electromagnetic field of everything. So from a thought came a sound, because sound waves have to come from somewhere. So here they are. The sound was made. Sound turns into light because everything is just different states of an electromagnetic field. So it goes from a thought to a sound to light. And CERN has shown how two particles of light, when crossed, creates matter. Okay? So two particles of light, when they collide, the end of that is basically the rainbow. You are the end of the rainbow. You're the end of the light. The light is the rainbow, right? So it's the full spectrum. So when you collide two light particles, you're matter. You're made of matter. You're made of conscious matter. You're made of, like you're right there. And if you read like the lyrics to Rainbow Connection, it's right there. It's a gift
Mm-hmm.
from your ancestors. Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection for lovers, for dreamers, and me. Because once you realize you are source consciousness, you understand that there's only unconditional love. There's only love. Like when you strip all the polarization away in creation, the only thing that's left is love, is harmony. And it's the truth if you observe nature. After researching nature for the past decade, I see it so clearly through natural cycles. And it's like with consciousness, these actual altered states of consciousness, you feel nothing but unconditional love. It's there. It's just they stole it from people because they put everybody in a state of separation. And they did it
Yeah.
they did it unknowingly, I
Yeah.
think, like
Yes.
because they were focused on themselves. They didn't realize how their actions would affect the
Yes.
whole until after the fact. And here we are, present day.
Yes. There's only the illusion of separation. There's no separation. And we believe it, that we're separate, but we're not.
You'll hear it though, like in all kinds of songs. Like I listen to, like Mike Patton is really good. He has an album he put out with a bunch of bandmates called Peeping Tom, and there's just esoteric information interweaved throughout the whole album. And it's like you can tell the people who've experienced enlightenment versus the ones who didn't because they are on the frequency of oneness, of unity, of love, of harmony. They actually are. They've elevated, like Sia. Sia
Oh, I love
is
Sia.
like oh,
I love her.
Sia. She's an enlightened. She's an enlightened being. She is a light being. She's a modern day angel. She is an earth angel, and you can identify these people by their beingness, by their works, by their fruit. Like you can identify them, and she's a healer. You can see that, and that is like she's an emanation of source consciousness coming in to be a healer, to heal people through song. And in history, she would be considered a muse. Do you see how
Yeah.
like shit connects? Like we have like Labyrinth.
Well,
Labyrinth is another person. He has a song, that sings about his Kundalini experience, connecting and experiencing God, the unconditional love you can feel just by connecting your senses to creation. It's powerful, powerful shit. I'm telling you. Whew.
No, it is, and that's a good example of how we can look at things in complete polarities and not realize we're doing it. I'm going to call myself out again. I'm going to do it because it's real, right? There's a time like I can go, all music industry people are just bad, right? I can say, oh, they're awful, but then my inner being person says, no, Wendy, that's you're coming from a place of fear. We need to look at each individual and the fruits they bear, right? Because that's fair. Because if not, then I could be the one that gets, think about that for a second. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so there was a time when I did that and I had to pull myself into center. So now I take each individual circumstance because there's no way of me knowing that. And what you just said about that being, that's a perspective, and I see that. And now I see that. But what I'm saying is there was a time I didn't. I'm going back and forth between the two me's because this is a real thing. And that's how the defected version of us, I have a hard time saying it's us defected. The defected version, the lost version of us is just, that's even the worst, most evil person, we would say that word in the world is a defected version who has lost themselves. They're fearful. So I can't.
They spawn from genetic trauma, basically.
Yeah, that doesn't make it okay. And I'm not saying that for anyone listening. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, just love and light. I mean, I'm not all just love and light. Like there is a time to transmute, but it needs to be done in a correct fashion, not to add more to the toxicity, right? The polarity. But my point is yeah, it's like there is beauty, and I mean beauty beyond
There's
measure,
the,
and
and
every
it's so,
single thing and person and down to the finest little piece of dirt, because it's all it's just all connected. And when you see it, it's beautiful. It takes your breath away, and you realize that you are everything and part of everything at the same time. And so is each individual person. And so these ideas that we have, right? Sold your soul to the devil. What does that really mean? And that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not getting into that right now, because these are the questions I ask inside myself. I'm constantly challenging myself in my being to see different, to be different. And it really opens up stuff. So I
well,
love
I mean, we collectively are the beast. Like
yeah.
this reality is the beast machine. So you got to understand your power as a beast yourself. Like everybody has animal instincts. So that beast mentality is us chasing our animal instincts without the wisdom of you know the oneness. Basically, we're born into unknowing, and we have this beast mentality of survival. And now what society is experiencing is we're moving out of survival mode. Like we're going into a time where it's going to press us in such a way that is going to bring forth some major refinement. Because let's be honest, like how much longer are we going to tolerate stupid shit like going into the grocery store and having 100 different types of lotion in their plastic
Don't get me
bottles
on that,
on this?
please.
When are the women going to stand up and be like, ladies, do we really need all this
No, it's
bullshit? And if you look at who owns it, it's all owned by like BlackRock. It's like, why don't you start like, we need to take back our power, make your own lotions, use coconut oil, like anything to get off the system of consumption, because consumption is what holds everybody hostage. And they talk about climate and they mix the concepts of pollution with climate when it's actually consumption. Like if they quelled people's consumptions, the people have to be like, I don't need that. Like, and then actively not participate in it. So it's
yeah,
clear
because
that, like
you're buying from one grand
it's
huge.
the collective is mindlessly just doing shit, and this is the result in society is us collectively acting in a mindless way. We're mindlessly going through creating the internet and watching it unfold and whatever. And we're coming to a time where we've learned from the internet the good, the bad, the ugly, the highs, the lows. We're learning about AI, the good, the bad, the ugly, the highs, the lows, the closed systems, the open systems. We're understanding this, and then we're bringing in all the science to everything. Like this is like we are peaking a time in civilization where this is all bubbling up, and it's a lot for people to absorb. It was a lot for me to absorb. Like, I know I spouted out like diarrhea of the mouth now, like, oh, it's all great, but it was not great processing. I'll tell you that. It was quite painful.
Well,
Accepting that
you've gone through
the
years of
dogma
it.
of everything I grew up on was a fucking lie. Like dissecting the Bible and realizing,
Oh,
walking through the Bible with the Holy Spirit and my heart full, reading the Bible with eyes of love versus eyes of fear are two different experiences. And
absolutely.
you can take that Christian doctrine and like apply it to all, even like you see that it spawned from like hermetic principles. Then you see how that branched out in mythology, and then you see like a works of Plato. Like Plato was nothing but expanded consciousness, and then you see how your schooling was, and they don't talk about mindfulness or depth of perception, or they don't teach you this in school. This is all something it's like an unspoken language of nature that people have to sort of assemble with pattern recognition skills to fully understand what I'm talking about at depth. It takes time to process because it's 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 a lot. It's a
It is.
lot. It's a
We've been
lot,
gone.
especially when you
Melody
get
said
into the
5 p.m. to leave
quantum
or whatever. It's a
stuff.
lot. You and I have been going for 2.5 hours. Why does this not surprise me?
I know I should probably wrap it up. I don't want people going too long, but
No,
it's
I'm saying
gonna-
I'm saying that about me. No, it doesn't, because these are important topics. These are important things. I mean, they're important, but yeah.
And it's like I don't know how to organize it. Like it's easy for me to just because I'm a channel. So
Yeah, you
so
got
so
all that.
I don't
You
know
got all
if
that
people
chaos energy coming in. You got
like
it all. It's like everything.
like how Bashar is. Have
Yes.
you seen Bashar? Like I
Yeah.
channel stuff like Bashar. Like shit just it comes out. Like and
Okay.
but all I channel because my connection it's all law of one.
Yes.
It's all law of one, and it's
Well, yeah.
all nature because the truth is this is my consciousness is a creation of nature, and I'm connected to my own nature. And I understand from an atomic level all the way up to a macroverse energetically, you know, I don't ever die. Like my
No, yeah,
consciousness is
we're infinite.
eternal. Like
Yeah.
this body is just a meat suit.
What dies
My
is the body. What dies
yeah,
is the
it's
body,
just
the
it's
matter.
a
That's it.
vehicle. Our human bodies are vehicles to experience the
Yes.
dense realm of energy physics. Like we are in a hologram that's dense, and science has proved this. Like it's just a matter of accepting the reality of it. And when you feel that your life is some kind of staged act, play, puppet show, that nothing feels real, well, that's sort of why you came to experience. You came to experience absurdity. We wanted to experience something absurd and weird and odd, that we can take back into our spiritual realm when it's our resting state on the spiritual side is the state of unconditional love, which is, if you haven't felt it in a while, it feels euphoric. It's just, think of someone you love or whatever, that feeling over just taking your body, like just washing your body, like bathing your body in pure just beauty. And it takes you a while when you build your consciousness up. Your body needs to adjust to
Yeah.
the energy. Like in nature has a method for people. And this is why people fall into meditation at first, because it's like you're listening to your body, and then when you listen to your body, you become more aware of what your body is doing. You start doing hand mudras. You can feel your pulse between your fingers and your thumb, and you start feeling your blood flowing through your veins, and then you're starting to feel the wind like around your skin, and you start feeling depth below. And as you come into understanding yourself, you'll see, like, especially when I start doing quantum hypnosis on here, how much you can hear yourself with just energetic aligning, like yourself, and using mindfulness. It doesn't cure everything, but it really alleviates a whole lot. Like I used to be, always having headaches, always having body aches, taking Tylenol, ibuprofen, feeling achy, feeling gross all the time. And if you pay attention to your body, you you start moving your body and listening to your body. You understand that body movement is beneficial to moving these stagnant energies that are in your body. So like when a solar storm comes, and your body is processing all this polarized energy and it's slowing down and it feels tired, and you know how to go into yourself and tune yourself, find your center and shoot these energetic, you know, your field, basically. You can, your body is an instrument, so you can, you know, with the mind, move your field into a harmonic state. You're healing yourself. And it's like, it's, to me, it's miraculous because I've spent a long time developing it and practicing it. I went from being skeptic about it to being a full on believer, to reaching what yogis call the state of samadhi and holding it for a consistent amount of time. The only way I'm not in a state of samadhi is when I come down to physical, like into like this realm, and I'm working with others that aren't in the oneness. You know, I'm coming back into the realm of duality to teach. You know,
Yeah,
and
and that's
it just,
that balance.
it
That's that
feels
balance that's
sensory
really hard.
different. It's not it's not an easy skill to
No.
obtain. It's like mental kung fu. It's like a martial art. And the more you practice it, you'll see it within your interactions with people, how you view
Yes.
them, how you're perceiving their behaviors in contrast to yours, and then structuring yours in a way that can, you know, align in polarity. And you'll find that people that, you know, don't, like an easy example, like, you know, I'm not big on football, but my husband's a massive football fan. And when you're practicing unconditional love, well, I had to look through things about football that I liked for me to tolerate it all the time. You know, like that's unconditional love. Like, what are the things you can see through, things that you don't like, to match, you know? And it's like working through differences is not always easy because you have to, each side has to compromise, and that is energy transmutation. Both sides are working together to navigate a harmonic way into existence. So when you see these love and light people saying, oh, this is easy,
Yeah.
love and light, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
It's
It's not.
not easy being a loving, unconditional, non-polarized person, and that state is considered a state of non-duality. So it is absolutely not easy to maintain. So I don't take anything I say very lightly, but at the same time, I laugh my way through it because I know what's at the end. I know I know unity consciousness. I've seen it, I've felt it, I've experienced it, and I can see it in everybody. If I've experienced it within myself, I can see it within everybody because they are human. They have the ability within themselves to experience joy, to experience connection, to experience oneness of creation. Like, I see massive human potential. And that's why I could take hard topics talking about, yeah, devastation, but also see the light, what comes out from from misery is beauty. And you focus on the beauty, the misery sort of fades away. You know, your actions with intent create your reality. So going into this grand solar minimum is not going to be easy for people, but if they stay centered and focused on just the basics, I can feed myself, I can grow food, I can learn how to filter water, I can do this. Like, it's like you're prepared for anything. You know, like you're unconquerable. It doesn't matter what the outside world is doing because you're center, and that's all that matters. You're center. And if someone comes in to your field, if you are center with, you know, you seeing them as you, like you're like, even if they're polarized, you confront them with love and understanding, patience. You know, you can conquer issues, and it's just simple as using magnetic physics. I wish it was easier for people to take the simplicity and just overlook the complexity, like, because it's like we waste so much time in the polarized complexity, we miss the simple things, and this is the
It is,
problem. Like, we
well,
have
it is
complicated
simple. It
everything.
is, yeah, it's simple, but it's complex. But I always say where I saw the most growth in myself and everything was when I began seeing myself in others, meaning like there's things that have triggered me and I've gotten into it with people years in the past and I'm like, oh crap, that I do that, but in a different form. And that was brought into my field of awareness so that I grew from that by being able to see myself accurately, almost from that 360 or that tower, like, oh my gosh, okay, wait. And so for me, it's perspective listening. Like I learn things from you, Mari, when we speak, or my fallouts. I'm like, okay, it's not that what someone does to you is correct, but you can see aspects of yourself in that person. Like that is you talking back to you in a way. I mean, it is, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like part of my healing journey was, because I had a rough childhood, and I didn't know I was autistic. I didn't know my hyperfixation and OCD. Like, I just thought that I was obsessed with nature and all the facts. Like, I was the kid that like had to have endless facts about the butterflies and the ants and the spiders and dirt and water and like trees and plants. Like, like grew up like always connected. So it's like, and I feel like the more people get to know themselves, they'll realize this about themselves as well, that they've always been connected, but it's like the footprints in the sand. Like, you didn't realize it until you looked back and you were like, wow, I was sort of carried here. But now that I know this connection, we see each other, and now it's like it evolves. And this is where like the natives call people like me like two spirit people, because it's just that connection. You're connected, you're grounded in this world, and you're connected on the spiritual world. You understand directly how you perceive the world. You're perceiving from the eyes of oneness. Like, you see everybody as you, so you don't really pick on people who are, disabled or something. You're like, well, what if that was me? Like, I just put myself in that position, and I can see the disabled people in this world suffering, living in a ableist society. Like, there's so many people suffering right now, and it's like not many of them have found their voice to speak up. And it's like people like us who find their voice need to use that. And it's like that was a hard revelation for me when I took like 2 years of being in hermit mode, basically, to process all this information. It knocked me on my ass because I can't unsee it. I can't unsee my experience working with higher dimensional beings. Like, I know I've had a direct connection with the Heavenly Father and the Heavenly Mother. I've experienced spirit possession, spirit channeling. I've experienced everything firsthand. And there's quantum mechanics and quantum physics and everything to explain it. Like, I'm not gonna, I know, like, I live by, here's the crazy ones, the Steve Jobs Apple shut. Like, that's me. I am a crazy one, but I am not crazy. Like, there is this fine line between genius and crazy. And I'm walking it. That's why I
Oh,
gotta laugh, because it's like to take this information in. The path is straight and narrow. It's a narrow path, and it's not what people think. Like, all like, it's not like what you imagine in a linear mind is nothing what reality is in the land of the multiverse, in quantum realm, like where things are interdimensional and way bigger than what people would like to admit. We should
right.
probably wrap this up. I'm probably burning people out.
I mean, you know me, I could sit here and do this all day because it's like so important. But yeah, we can come back to it. And I got some really good valuable stuff from it for sure.
I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to like, like I want to do these shows and I want to be like, all right, I talk a lot about the Gnostics, so like
Well, we just got to make
covering the
topic
Gnostic
sections.
stories and trying to teach people these different ways. Like you can cross reference Hinduism with Hermetic principle, with Buddhism, with Christianity. Like it's like, do we start showing people these parallels to just show that it's like all tied into science and human evolution, like or evolution?
I think it's
How do you structure these conversations? Like, I don't know. We'll
no,
figure it
I mean,
out.
I think it's all valuable. I took a bunch of notes for us to put topics together because there's stuff that, you know, me, I've had stuff like it just becomes overwhelming because it's, I can see like you, I see everything at the same time. And I'm like, I start one place, but it connects and everything connects.
I
So it's
know.
hard.
And when I
It's
start
hard to
channeling, it
see.
all comes out, and it's like, oh,
Well, it all connects too. So you start one place, and especially when you have this new non-dual kind of awareness place that you go to, but you still. So I still remember. I sound crazy. There's different me's, right? The me that's the okay. I can stay this, and then there's the. So you're out here doing it, and you're like, oh, that connects, and that connects. Like, oh, here's a shiny thing. Look over here. Like my ADD just goes into like overdrive. I'm like, okay, you know, and the other me is like saying, okay, my order me is like, okay,
I,
stay on topic, Wendy.
some dogs,
But
really
yeah,
doggy.
like the other me is like stay on topic, stay on topic. But the other me's that can see everything is like, but everything connects, and you're just, you're
It's
spinning
like
out.
how people have like the devil on one side of their shoulder, the angel on the other side, and then you're in the middle trying to discern it. Like this is like the Holy Trinity. It's like this is what cause and effect is. Like you like the dark side is cause, and then or actually the light is the cause, like the good vision, and then the effect is like after entropy rears its ugly head, that's the darkness is the effect. That's basically where we're at looking at society right now. We know the cause, and now we're looking at the effect, and now we're rising above cause and effect to this neutral outside point to see the
To see
whole,
it all.
to see the
Yes.
wholeness
And you
of
see it all
everything. We
connecting
see
and how to
we're seeing the
alchemize it.
collective, we're seeing what the collective cause was, and we're seeing what the collective effect was on humanity, and we're sort of being like transmuting the two now, the original vision into what came to be back into order.
Yeah. It's like rising up in a tower, going higher and higher up an elevator. You can see more and more and more, kind of like when you expand and look at all like a map. If you're up at the top of the map looking down at the map, you can see all of the roads and everything, but when you go in the map, you're only on that road, right? So, and you can only see so much with your eyes
And
perceive.
then and
That's
then there's the depth, because not only do you have multiple perspectives to look at from within yourself, you have
yeah.
to compare the multiple perspectives of complexities outside of yourself. And it's just like this chaos fractal
Which
of
is all you.
variability,
Which is
you
all
know?
you.
And that's it. It's like all you can do is walk through this life understanding your power and your influence to structure your future within your immediate field of existence, like where your impact is. So, that's basically where we all are as our starting point, and we walk each day doing the best we can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, absolutely. I know. Well, we'll put things together for next time. Why we're like having the offline conversation online, right?
It
That's what we're
doesn't
doing.
matter. I mean, we've
No, I know it
talked
doesn't
so
matter.
long, it doesn't even matter, but
No, I know it doesn't matter. I'm just laughing at it because it's just the real. You're the real, Mari. You're the real, and I appreciate you, and I love
well,
you.
I love you and I like talking a lot. I'm so like glad that you get like it's because it's hard talking a lot and then no one gets what I'm talking about. Like
That's well,
I've had that before and it's tough because
because
I
we're
try to simplify it.
You do, and then it gets complicated because you know why? I found this in me too, and a dear friend of mine pointed this out because I over-explain, and the reason that I over-explain and keep over-explaining is because I've been misunderstood so many times, and it's a you just want people to understand you, and
That's why
it's
I tried to explain like polarized energy from the perspective of the sun to the perspective of like the human body to the perspective of a magnet, like bringing these different
yeah,
angles
you're
in.
yeah.
You know,
I
it
hear you,
really
friend.
does. It does help people frame their own perception, you know, and hopefully, I mean, the main goal is just for people to see their self-worth and realize they're worthy of better, and humanity is worthy of better. Like we all basically each day our efforts using our voices to whoever will hear is progress. No, nothing is too small.
And asking a question is valuable. Like I think we've gotten this place in society where asking questions almost is like some because of our own trauma, not me or you per se, but in general, I've seen this almost like it's asking questions as in questioning, like antagonistic. I can tell you, I ask questions. If I'm asking a question, it's because I genuinely want to understand what you're telling me because you and everyone in general. So I just want to throw that back out there in the collective that questions are okay, even though we've been told not to question. I ask questions because I genuinely want to hear you and want to understand you. And I want to see the world through your eyes, right? I want to see, I want to be that, you know, because that's me experiencing me in you, right? And so people,
That's just it. I mean, if you look at creation, if you're going from a child of God aspect, like looking through reality through the eyes of a child, like you'll understand that the with the information on the table, we are energy, and we're all spawned into this existence, which we all have to share, and it's a shared collective experience, and that you know the power in knowing your ability to affect the whole is is just really underrated. It's really underrated, your ability to show yourself grace and how transformative grace is to yourself. When you look at yourself and you're able to look at your own insides with compassion. Like Mari, I know you're hurting. I know you're suffering and you're experiencing, and then you hear yourself. Like people don't allow themselves to even hear themselves, to grieve themselves. Like I had to
exactly.
I had to grieve myself. I grieved my childhood. I grieved all the suffering I did from having anxiety, just not knowing I was autistic and I had extra sensory, you know, things going on. Like I grieved myself and it allowed me to heal. And that healing took me out of victim mentality. I'm not a
Yep.
victim of my own circumstances. I'm not born into separation and damned to hell. Like I
Right.
am blessed with whatever I can create with whatever I do with myself. Like I take a huge look at the little things now, and the little things are everything. Like the
They are
more you
everything.
fine tune the little things in your life and cater to these little things that bring you joy, the joy grows. And this
It
is like
does.
what the conscious ladder is about. The more you see that joy within yourself, your inner child is your spark to source consciousness. Your inner child is the gateway to the kingdom of heaven from within. That innocence of a child from within is how you get this beautiful lens on the outside world of what it could be based on what if everybody looked at the view like this, if we started sharing our visions like this, how could this flourish, how could this grow, how can we reap what we sow, how can we sow this, because if there's a will there's a way. and it's, I know it seems like an impossible role for when you look at it from an individualized perspective, but if you see the big picture, you'll understand that this is unfolding without us doing anything.
It
This
is. Yep.
awakening is happening regardless if people do anything or don't do anything. And this is
Well, it's
why
gonna
I laugh
happen.
at people.
How painful it's gonna be for somebody or not is really up to them, but it's gonna happen no matter what,
It's
for sure.
everyone has their own time to come into realization,
Yeah, we don't need to
and
be
it's like
running around. I
it's
was that
it's
person like 3 years ago. I was like, "Everyone has to know." Now I'm like, "Oh." Yeah, I was little.
well, the healing involved. It's like for someone to realize the healing down their generational line. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people have, a lot of us were raised by boomers, and they were
Yeah.
raised with a hard-headed mentality from their
Yeah.
uh, you know, ancestors that were dealing with wars and famine and nothing but hard times. And it's
Yeah.
like these cycles repeat. And these cycles repeat until the black sheep stand
Mhm.
up and say, fuck this. There's a better way. We're not going to be on the cycle. We can do this. And it's each individual has to find
We
their inner
step
strength to do
outside
it.
of
It's not easy, but it's worth it. It's
we
worth
step
it.
outside of time. We're outside of time, Marv.
It's just it's it's worth it because you're given an open canvas to create the reality you want to see. You have a different centered vision. You're not living from the mindset of fear and survival. You're living from the mindset of love, compassion, harmonious balance, which, you know, people like me, we're reaching out to our local farmers. We're bringing the community together so farm to table happens. So, so we're actively out there, you know, being stewards to people and showing them this is how we do this.
Right.
Old but
And
new.
that's
None of
teaching
this is new
ourselves too.
information,
Yeah.
really.
That's scary
Really.
for people. Yeah. I mean, you going out like what would happen? Everyone's like, what would happen if this goes down? And we really like, I'm speaking to myself, like we can be doing stuff now that's the change. Like we don't have to wait for somebody, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a law to be passed or whatever. Like you said, you're going and speaking with the farmers. So
People
then it's
have
kind of,
been so sculpted to look outside themselves. Like you
yes,
got like, what people are going to realize is that they can channel. You can channel the source consciousness. Like once people realize they can empower themselves, they don't need to look outside of themselves. Fuck what the
that's right.
government's doing. It's an illusion.
It is an illusion. It is an illusion. And then when you see it, that, oh, the dogs, they want to be, they want to be heard.
Hey, hey guys, stop. All right. Sorry.
I'm pretty
Oh
I'm
my
pretty sure
god,
this
it's
is the end of the
loud.
last one. I think their dogs were like,
Get everybody mad now, fighting food. Stop it. Dogs. Wish I could teach them some peace.
they've been pretty good this whole
Well,
time, I gotta say,
they're
because normally
excited because their dog food got delivered. I just had the delivery of their dog food. So now it's like, oh, it's food time.
no, they're awesome. They just are like, that's enough, mom. I want to eat. That's what they're
Shut up.
saying.
It's time to eat. Everybody's sick of me talking about shit anyway, so.
No, 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 I'm not. I'm not. They're no, nobody's sick of, don't say that. That's not true. It's valuable. There's somebody on here needed to hear something, or you know what? I just needed it. So
My
thank you, my
battery's
friend.
now my battery's dying, so that's a good
Yeah,
time to we'll
that's right.
wind it
I
up.
needed it. I needed it.
We all
Thank
did.
you.
We had to get it out. It's like a little venting session. Just like, come on, let's all time. It's time to wake up now, everybody.
Exactly. Exactly. I love you,
We
friend.
know it's
Thank you
not
so
normal.
much.
We know it's weird, but let's just embrace it. Let's just embrace this odd,
It is
absurd
It's not
reality
that
that we've
weird.
immersed
It's not that
ourselves
weird.
in.
You're just being real. Please
It
be
is
real.
weird, but
More
it's
people need to be
natural.
real. We're all going through it. It's hard. Let's just talk about it. Like it doesn't. It's
Basically.
okay.
So if you survived the full 3 hours, God bless you.
We'll send you like a badge. I'll make something with my cricket for you. You can have a medal. I'll do it. You know?
I don't know.
I'm teasing. All right.
All right. I've talked myself out. So
No, you're awesome. I'm
gonna end the stream. Say goodbye.